Okay, we have a double angles identity question, and we're asked to find the exact value of cosine 2 theta if sine theta is 3/4 and theta is in quadrant 1. So I'm going to do two different methods. So method 1, I'm going to draw this. So this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So we're told our angles in quadrant 1. So I'm going to draw my triangle. So theta is here. And we're told that the sine of theta is 3/4. Now we know that 3/4 sine is opposite over hypotenuse, which is also y/r. So I can write in my values. So opposite we have 3 and the hypotenuse r will be 4. Now I don't know this x value, but I can find it using Pythag. So I'm going to use Pythagoras. And this is going to be, so x squared will be 4 squared minus 3 squared, which is 16 minus 9. So x will be the root, which is plus or minus. Now, because it's in quadrant 1, this means that x will be positive. So this is root 7. So if I wanted the value for cosine, so cosine theta, this is going to be root 7/4, because I know this is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is x/r. So I've got my two values, and the formula I've been asked to work out is cosine 2 theta. So I can use the identity, which is cos squared theta minus sine squared theta. So cosine squared theta is 7/4. So root 7/4 squared. And this is minus sine squared, which is 3/4 squared. And this here gives me a value of -8. And if I was to draw this, so I'd have my angle here in quadrant 2, this would be minus root 7. This is 4 and this is 3. So our cosine here, this should be cosine of theta. Okay, so it's going to be negative in quadrant 2. There we go. Okay, so we're going to look at the same question, but method 2. So this method, we are going to use the identity. So we need to find cosine squared. So we're going to find cosine first. So to find cosine squared theta, this is equal to 1 minus squared theta using the Pythagorean identity. So I'm going to substitute in the value I know. So sine is 3/4 and I need to square this. So 1 minus 3/4 squared, that's going to be 9/16. And 16 minus 9, that is 7/16. So we need to take the square root of 7/16. And if we do that, cosine of theta will be plus or minus root 7/4. So now we have cosine and we have sine. We can put this into the cosine 2 squared, and we can choose which one we want to use, 2 theta. So let's try a different formula. 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. Okay, so we can do this one without finding cosine, and we'll just see how they compare. So 1 minus 2 times 3/4 squared. So this would be 1 minus 2 times 3 times 9 over 16, which is 18 over 32. And if we work this out, cosine of 2 theta is going to be equal. So correcting this. So that's 18, 1 minus 18 over, so that is 9 over 8. So 1 minus 9 over 8 would leave us with minus 1/8. And in quadrant 2, it is negative. So let's try using the other formula. So what if we use a different formula? And if we tried to use cosine 2 theta is cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. So cosine would be root 7 over 4 squared minus 3 over 4 squared. So 7 squared is just 7, so 7 over 16 and 9 over 16. So 7 minus 9 is minus 2 over 16, which is minus 1/8.